I had just finished balancing the last of my invoices when I heard the faint click of the front door. I knew who it was before I even looked up. "Hey, Ethan. You busy?" Emily's voice, sweet as honey, floated into the apartment. "Just finishing some paperwork," I said, forcing a smile. "What brings you here?" She leaned against the doorframe, twirling her hair. "Oh, nothing. I just thought I'd drop by, family time." I nodded, though a small voice in my head whispered caution. "Family time's good," I said, "but you're usually busy." Emily laughed softly. "Busy me? Never. Anyway, I wanted to talk to you about, a little favor." Raised an eyebrow. "A favor?" "Yes," she said, moving closer, her eyes glinting with something I didn't recognize. "Mom needs money. Urgently. She can't pay the hospital bills." "I thought maybe you could lend some." I felt my stomach twist. Mom's health had been fragile lately, but I had spent years saving for my own business. I hesitated. "How much do you need?" I asked cautiously. Emily smiled, and it was the kind of smile that made your heart ache. "All of it," she said softly. "Everything you've saved. Please, Ethan. Mom's life, it depends on it." I froze. "All of it? My savings?" "Yes," she whispered, eyes glistening. "You're my only brother. Only you can help." I wanted to believe her. I wanted to save Mom. I guess I can help," I said, my voice tight. She threw her arms around me. "Oh, thank you. Thank you so much." I felt a knot of unease in my chest, but pushed it aside. I transferred the money, every last penny, telling myself it was for Mom. 2 days later, I walked past Emily's apartment and saw a brand new car parked out front. I paused. It was the exact model she had been dreaming about for months. I knocked. "Emily, can we talk?" She opened the door, eyes wide in feigned surprise. "Hey, what's wrong?" I stepped in, anger bubbling. "Don't play dumb. I know you used my savings to buy this car. Mom didn't need it. She wasn't even in the hospital." Emily laughed lightly, the kind of laugh that made me want to smash something. "Ethan, calm down. I told you, it was for Mom. You know how she worries. I had to make it look urgent. You overreacting as well?" Typical. I felt my hands shake. "I trusted you. I worked for years, scrimped and saved, and you, Ethan, please," she said, voice soft, almost wounded. "You're blowing this out of proportion. Everyone's going to think you're insane." I felt a punch to the gut. "Insane? I'm the one who's broke. My entire life savings gone." Emily tilted her head, blinking innocently. "It's just money, Ethan. You'll earn it back. Mom, she'll be fine. Look, I didn't want to hurt you." I laughed bitterly. "Didn't want to hurt me? You stole my life." At that moment, Mom walked in. She looked between us, confused. "Ethan, what's going on?" "She took everything," I said, voice cracking. "All my savings?" For a lie, Mom's eyes darted to Emily. "Is this true?" Emily gasped, clutching her chest. "Mom, he's exaggerating." "Ethan, don't tell her that." Mom's expression faltered. "Ethan, I don't know what to say." I felt a wave of helplessness crash over me. "Say that you see what she's done. Say I'm not the bad one here." Mom shook her head slowly. "Ethan, maybe calm down." "Emily, I'm sure there's a reason." I could feel my chest tightening. The betrayal wasn't just Emily taking my money, it was Mom siding with her, even if just a little. "No, Mom, there's no reason. She lied. She stole from me. And you're letting her get away with it." Emily stepped closer, voice dripping with false sympathy. "Ethan, I'm sorry you feel that way. But you have to understand, it's complicated. Maybe you just don't see the bigger picture." I swallowed hard. The bigger picture? The bigger picture is that my life is ruined because you wanted a new car and a thrill. I trusted you. Emily's lips quivered, as if she were on the verge of tears. I didn't mean to hurt you." "I love you, Ethan, you know I do." Stepped back, unable to look at her. "Love. This is what love does. It ruins lives." That night, I returned to my apartment, only to find the eviction notice taped to my door. My landlord had finally lost patience with my late payments. Everything I had worked for, gone. I sank onto the floor, staring at the blank walls. The betrayal was suffocating. Emily's laughter, Mom's hesitation, the staff at the bank who had taken her side, they all felt like knives in my back. I whispered into the silence, how could I have been so blind? How could I trust her? And for the first time, I felt the cold. Hollow emptiness of having nothing. I woke up in my empty apartment, the walls feeling closer than ever. My bed smelled like nothing. My life smelled like nothing. I dialed Jake's number. Hey man, can we meet? Ethan, is everything okay? His voice sounded concerned. Not really, I admitted. I don't know where to start. He was silent for a moment. Meet me at the cafe on 5th? I'll grab a table. I trudged out, my stomach twisting with every step. I didn't have money for breakfast. I didn't have money for anything. When I arrived, Jake waved from the corner. Ethan, sit. I slumped into the chair. I've lost everything, Jake. All my savings gone. Heard, he said softly. Emily, she really did that? I clenched my fists. She did. And Mom, she believes her. Everyone does. I'm the bad guy now. Jake frowned. I'm so sorry, man. I wish I could help more. You've done enough just showing up, I muttered. I can't believe she got away with it. She's driving around in a brand new car, throwing parties I can't even afford to imagine. Jake's brow furrowed. You've got to survive first. Don't let her win. I laughed bitterly. Survive? That's funny. I'm taking odd jobs just to pay rent. I feel like I'm drowning. What kind of jobs? He asked. Delivery, cleaning, some freelance work. Nothing consistent. Nothing enough. I rubbed my eyes. People avoid me too. Friends, they think I'm unstable now. Jake leaned back. People like that, they weren't real friends. You know that, right? I know, I said, voice hollow, but it still hurts. He nodded. It would. I get it. Next day, I passed Emily's apartment while delivering food. The car glinted in the sun, new tires shining, windows spotless. She stepped out, Ryan by her side, laughing. I clenched my jaw. Of course. They're happy, I muttered under my breath. Emily spotted me. Ethan, out for a walk, or counting the cracks in the pavement. I kept walking. Very funny, Emily, Ryan smirked. You should learn to enjoy life, man. Money's just a tool, right? I wanted to punch him. Instead, I whispered, enjoy it while it lasts. Emily tilted her head. Such bitterness. You always were dramatic. I wanted to shout, but I swallowed it. I didn't have the strength to argue in public. Back at my apartment, I sat on the floor. The walls felt smaller, the silence louder. I muttered to myself. I trusted her, and I was stupid. Stupid to think family mattered. The phone buzzed. Jake again. Hey, Ethan, how's it going? I scoffed, going, I'm alive. That's about it. We'll get through this. You're stronger than you think. I laughed bitterly. Stronger? I can barely pay rent. I can barely eat. And she's living my dream. Jake's voice softened. One step at a time. Don't let her shadow your life. Find something, anything, to fight for. I hung up, staring at the blank walls. I imagined grabbing Emily by the shoulders. You think you've won? You haven't seen me yet. Shook my head, trying to clear the rage. I don't even have a plan. I don't even have money. Days passed in a blur of work and exhaustion. I delivered food in the morning, cleaned offices in the afternoon, and tried freelancing at night. Every cent went to rent. Every hour drained me. Sometimes I saw Emily's posts online, her parties, her dinners, Ryan holding her hand, her laughter. It was poison. I wanted to scream at the screen. One evening, Jake came over with a small bag of groceries. Not much, but it'll last a few days. I looked at him, voice breaking. Thanks, really. I don't even know what I'd do without you, he shrugged. Don't thank me. Just promise me you won't give up. You're not her. You're better than her. I clenched my fists. Better than her. Yeah, one day she'll see. She regret everything. I swear. Jake raised an eyebrow. That's a lot of hate for one night. Don't let it consume you. Focus on surviving first. I know, I muttered. But inside, my mind raced with revenge. I didn't have the means yet, but I would. Emily didn't know it, but her laughter had lit a fire inside me. A fire I'd let burn quietly, growing while I survived in darkness. I whispered to myself late at night, I'll rise again. One day, she'll pay, and I'll make sure she understands what it feels like to lose everything. The apartment felt colder than ever, but in that darkness, I felt something else, a spark. Small, fragile, but alive. I didn't know how I'd do it, but I promised myself I would rise, even if it took everything I had left. I woke up to a white ceiling, a sterile smell, and a throbbing in my head that felt like it wanted to split me in two. My heart skipped a beat as memories of the accident and everything I had lost rushed back. Ethan, you're awake? A voice cut through my fog. I blinked, trying to focus. A man in a crisp suit stood beside my bed. Who are you? I croaked. I'm Mr. Harris, he said, offering a firm handshake. I run Harris Capital, and I think you've got potential. Potential. I coughed, my throat raw. You've got the wrong guy. I've got nothing, he smiled, like he'd been expecting that. Nothing? That's the beauty of it. You've got experience, knowledge, drive. You just need guidance and a fresh start. I frowned. Guidance. I can't even pay rent. I barely survived the last month. And my sister, my voice cracked. She stole everything. He nodded. That's why you need this. I can invest, help you rebuild. But you'll need to commit fully. No half measures. I don't know if I can trust anyone, I whispered. Trust is earned, he said gently. Start by trusting yourself. You've already survived more than most. You just don't realize it yet. Later that day, he introduced me to Lisa, sharp, confident, and relentless. Ethan, meet Lisa. She's brilliant with operations and strategy. If anyone can help you make a comeback, it's her. Lisa held out her hand. Nice to meet you, Ethan. Ready to change your life? I stared at her, unsure. I guess. She laughed lightly. Guessing isn't going to cut it. You've got to dive in. I took a deep breath. Okay, I'm in. The weeks that followed were grueling. Lisa pushed me to study market trends, to understand investment strategies, to rethink everything I had learned about business. Mr. Harris mentored me, challenging me at every turn. You're thinking too small, he said one evening as we reviewed a business plan. If you want to succeed, aim higher. Stop fearing failure. Failed too much already, I muttered. Good, he said sharply. Use it. Let it fuel you. Let it teach you. Every mistake is a lesson if you're willing to learn, Lisa smirked. And I'll make sure you don't forget it. You need discipline, Ethan. You can't rebuild if you keep whining about the past. Not whining, I snapped. I'm learning, she raised an eyebrow. Learning through whining sounds like whining to me. I groaned but smiled faintly. Her energy was exhausting, but I needed it. Needed her. Mornings were spent running, building stamina. Afternoons were for studying business and finance. Nights were for strategy meetings. Every day I felt myself grow stronger, not just physically, but mentally. I began seeing opportunities where I once saw despair. One evening, as the city lights flickered below the office window, I muttered to myself, I'm not the same man who got ripped off by Emily. Not anymore. Lisa leaned against the doorway holding 2 coffees. Who's Emily? I froze. My sister. She stole everything I had. She sipped her coffee. Sounds like motivation enough to succeed. You're going to make her regret underestimating you. I will, I whispered. One day, she'll see me on top, and she'll know what it feels like to lose everything. Mr. Harris clapped his hands together. All right, Ethan, you've mastered the basics. Now, it's time for your first real challenge. Securing an investment for a startup you believe in. I swallowed hard. I can do this. You can, he said firmly. I'll guide you, but the pitch, the negotiation, it's all on you. Make it count. The night before the pitch, I barely slept. I paced the tiny hotel room, rehearsing my speech, imagining every question they might ask, every objection I could face. Lisa sat cross-legged on the bed. Stop pacing. You're going to psych yourself out. I can't help it, I said. I've never done anything like this before. What if I fail? Then you learn and try again, she said. Failing isn't fatal. Stupidity is staying the same after failing. I nodded slowly. Her words sank in. I took a deep breath. All right, I'll do this. No excuses. The next morning, I walked into the boardroom with Mr. Harris and Lisa. The investors were a mix of skeptical and bored faces. I started my pitch. Good morning. My name is Ethan, and I've spent years understanding the market from both success and failure hours past. Questions flew like arrows. Lisa whispered hints. Mr. Harris nodded approvingly. I answered each question, every objection, every doubt. My confidence grew with each passing moment. Finally, the lead investor leaned back. You've convinced us. We'll fund your project. I blinked, heart racing. You're sure? He smiled. We're sure. You've got drive, knowledge, and persistence. That's rare. I sank into the chair, overwhelmed. Thank you so much, Lisa nudged me. Told you? You've got this. Mr. Harris smiled. This is just the beginning, Ethan. The real power comes next. Keep learning, keep growing, and one day you'll be unstoppable. As we left the building, I muttered under my breath, unstoppable. That's right. I'm not done. Not by a long shot. Emily's going to see me rise, and she won't know what hit her. For the first time since losing everything, I felt alive. A spark that had been buried under betrayal and failure was blazing. I had the knowledge, the guidance, and the fire inside me. I whispered into the night. I will build something no one can take from me. Not her, not anyone. And for the first time in months, I smiled. Not just the fake smile I showed the world, but a real one. A smile that said I was back. I leaned back in my office chair, staring at the financial reports on my screen. Everything was finally starting to make sense. The numbers, the strategies, the growth. I almost laughed at how far I'd come. Lisa peeked around the door. Deep in thought again? Always, I muttered. It's thrilling and exhausting. She walked in, coffee in hand. I'll take that as progress. What's on your mind? I'm thinking about the small company I bought last month, I said, tapping the screen. I can turn it around faster than anyone expects and use it as leverage for bigger opportunities. Lisa raised an eyebrow. Leverage. You're talking about Emily, aren't you? I smiled faintly. Maybe. But that's not the only reason. I'm learning to play the game smarter. Patience, strategy, trust the process. Lisa sipped her coffee. You've changed, Ethan. You're calculating now, focused. I like it. I had to change, I said, voice low. I lost everything once. I can't afford mistakes anymore. Over the next few weeks, I worked relentlessly. I negotiated contracts, optimized operations, and studied competitors. One name kept appearing: Daniel, the owner of a rival firm. He was arrogant, dismissive, and, apparently, unbeatable. Lisa leaned over my shoulder as I scrolled through his company profile. He looks like a pain in the ass. You have no idea, I said, fists clenched. Every decision he makes seems designed to mock small players like me, Lisa smirked. Then it's perfect. You'll use that arrogance against him. I nodded. Exactly. First step, turn my company into something he can't ignore. Something he might even underestimate. Weeks turned into months. Emily continued her life of luxury, flaunting her wealth on social media, hosting parties with Ryan by her side. Oblivious to the storm brewing just beneath the surface, I whispered to myself one night, staring at her latest post. She thinks she's untouchable. She has no idea I'm coming for her. Lisa appeared beside me, noticing the intensity in my eyes. You're obsessed. Not obsessed, I said sharply. Focused. Every move I make is calculated. Every decision leads me closer to my goal. Lisa rolled her eyes but smiled. Okay, Mr. Mastermind, just remember to enjoy the ride. Don't let revenge consume you before it's time. I laughed softly. Trust me, the ride is satisfying enough. One morning, I called Daniel's office under the guise of a potential partnership. Hello, this is Ethan. I'm interested in discussing a mutually beneficial opportunity. His voice dripped with condescension. Ethan, the last time I heard of you, you were a struggling entrepreneur. What makes you think I'd entertain your proposal? I suppressed the irritation rising in my chest, because this time, I'm not struggling. And I guarantee the results will speak for themselves. There was a pause. All right, fine. Schedule a meeting. Impress me or don't bother. I hung up, adrenaline pumping. Lisa, he bought it. She grinned. Good. Now, make him regret underestimating you. Emily's staff became a key piece of my plan too. I noticed cracks in their loyalty. They complained about her extravagant demands, her lack of foresight. I reached out discreetly, offering incentives for information and cooperation. Without revealing my identity, one staff member, a timid accountant named Laura, whispered, Mr. Harris or whoever you are, she's making mistakes. She doesn't check her accounts. There's a gap here, I nodded silently. Keep feeding me information. This will work in my favor. As the weeks passed, my company's profits soared. Daniel, unaware of my true identity and resources, began reaching out with cautious respect. Emily's empire, meanwhile, remained flashy but unstable. Lisa leaned back in my office chair one evening. It's satisfying, isn't it? Watching the pieces fall into place while she's clueless? It is, I admitted. But it's not just about her. I'm proving something to myself. That I can rise from nothing. That I can survive, adapt, and thrive. Lisa smiled. Good, keep that in mind. Revenge tastes sweeter when you've earned it yourself. I stared at the skyline outside my office window. The city stretched endlessly, full of opportunities, full of possibilities. Every lesson I learned, every mistake I made, it's all paying off now. Patience, strategy, trust, it's working. A knock at the door broke my thoughts. Mr. Harris stepped in. I stepped off the train, taking a deep breath. The city smelled the same traffic, smoke, and ambition, but this time it felt different. I wasn't the same Ethan who had lost everything. Not anymore. Jake greeted me at the station. Back in the city? Huh? Ready to shake things up? I smiled faintly. More than ready. This time, I'm not leaving anything to chance, he grinned. Good. You've got the experience and the drive. Let's make it count. We drove past familiar streets, and I felt a pang of memory. Emily's car flashed by, gleaming in the afternoon sun. I didn't flinch. I wouldn't let her see Farour satisfaction, yet still obsessed with her? Jake asked quietly. Not obsessed, I corrected. Focused. Everything I do now is calculated. Every step leads somewhere. Our first move was subtle. I acquired a small logistics company, one that competed directly with Emily's suppliers. My investment was anonymous, my identity hidden behind layers of legal entities. Jake looked at me as we reviewed the numbers. She won't see this coming. Not a chance. I want her to feel this shift before she knows it, I said softly. Subtle, strategic, it's the most satisfying kind of revenge. Lisa joined later, reviewing operations with me. You're growing fast. Emily's staff will notice changes soon. Some of them already question her decisions. I smirked. Good. I want cracks in her foundation. Everything she built on arrogance and luck will start to wobble. Days turned into weeks. I attended social events in the city, keeping my identity masked. Emily's new friends, Opportunists, who had flocked to her wealth, began noticing deals failing. Parties postponed and influence shifting. One evening, I overheard her friend Marcy complaining. Emily, the partnership with that supplier fell through again. Are you sure your connections are reliable? Emily laughed too sharply. "It's just a setback, Marcy. Nothing to worry about," I whispered to myself across the room. "She's beginning to feel it. The first tremors ain't." Jake nudged me. "Careful. Don't gloat too early. Let her unravel naturally." I nodded. "I'm patient. Let her sweat first. That's when the real power shows." Emily's staff started approaching me discreetly, cautiously. Laura, the accountant I had quietly contacted before, handed me a folder. "Here's everything I've gathered. Mistakes, mismanagement, she's making more than before." I studied the documents. Perfect. "Keep feeding me information. This will work in my favor." Lisa leaned over my shoulder. "You're playing a dangerous game, Ethan, but if anyone can do it, it's you." I chuckled. "Dangerous is the point. I've survived worse. This is nothing compared to losing everything once and coming back." One night, Emily's Instagram flashed on my phone. She was at a lavish party, surrounded by laughing friends and Ryan. But the comments caught my eye. Whispered doubts. Subtle digs at her leadership. Questions about her generosity. Her world was starting to tremble. Jake frowned. "People notice sooner than you think." She sensed something's wrong. "I want her to sense it," I replied. "I want anxiety to creep in before the truth hits." "Fear makes arrogance crumble," Lisa smirked. "You've become meticulous. I almost don't recognize you anymore." I leaned back in my chair. "Not metamorphosis, just evolution. Pain teaches you more than any mentor ever could." The next day, I hosted a discreet investor meeting at a neutral location. I spoke quietly, but confidently. "We're building a network that connects supply chains, logistics, and services in ways previously untapped. Investors will see profits and influence, both of which are power." Daniel's name came up in conversation, a rival who still underestimated me. I smiled. "He'll learn soon enough." Jake elbowed me lightly. "You're enjoying this too much." "I'm enjoying strategy, patience, and foresight," I said. "Not the downfall of one person. Though it's satisfying to watch the ripple effect." Emily called me later, though she didn't know it was me. "Hello? I've heard whispers about some new investors. Is this true?" I feigned innocence. "Oh, you must be talking about someone else. I wouldn't know." Her sigh carried frustration. "I can't shake this feeling like things are changing. Everything's shifting, and I don't understand why." I smiled behind the phone. "Patience," I whispered softly. "It's just the beginning." Over time, her circle began to fragment. Friends who once surrounded her with applause started questioning her decisions. Staff members whispered doubts in corners. Ryan grew uneasy, sensing instability he couldn't identify. Jake watched me with a knowing look. "You're weaving the web perfectly." "She won't know what hit her, I've learned," I said. "Trust is earned, patience is power, and timing is everything." Emily never understood any of that. Lisa placed a hand on my shoulder. "You're about to take control. Just remember, don't let this consume your humanity. Revenge is a tool, not the end." I exhaled slowly, feeling the shift in the air. The city, the deals, the quiet manipulations, they were all aligning. Emily's world was starting to crumble under forces she didn't understand. I whispered to myself, "Soon everything she took will be irrelevant. She'll see the consequences of underestimating me, and there will be nothing she can do." Jake smiled. "You're calm, calculated, but don't forget who you are in the process. Don't lose yourself entirely." "I won't," I assured him. "This is just the beginning. Patience, strategy, and careful steps. That's all it takes." I looked out the window, city lights reflecting like 1,000 possibilities. Every investment, every subtle manipulation, every whispered doubt was a step closer to the ultimate power shift. Emily might sense something was wrong, but she couldn't pinpoint it yet, and that was the thrill. I whispered to the night, "Soon you'll see Emily, and when you do, it will be too late." I watched from my office window as Emily's car pulled up to her mansion. It gleamed like a jewel in the sunlight, but I could feel the tension radiating from it. Something was off. Jake leaned beside me. "You see it too, right? Something's about to crack." I nodded slowly. Patience. Let the dominoes fall. The first sign came that morning. A few of her staff resigned quietly, citing mismanagement and unpaid salaries. Laura slipped me a note. They're leaving. She can't handle her empire anymore. I smiled faintly. Perfect. Let them go. Every departure weakens her. Lisa appeared with a stack of reports. Her parties are failing. Invitations declined, vendors complaining. She's losing influence fast. Good. Let arrogance and negligence take their toll. She never respected the value of loyalty or foresight. One evening, I attended a social event under my alias. Emily floated through the crowd, laughter forced, champagne in hand. I overheard her whisper to Marcy, "Why is everyone avoiding me? Did I do something wrong?" Marcy hesitated. I don't know. Maybe some of your investments didn't go as planned?" Emily's smile faltered. Impossible. Everything I touch succeeds. Everything. I sipped my drink quietly. "Oh, it's happening," I murmured. Every doubt, every question gnawing at her.
Ow.
Jake chuckled. "She's unraveling right before your eyes. How does it feel?" "Honestly," I admitted. "Satisfying. But not completely peaceful." Lisa raised an eyebrow. "Not peaceful?" I shook my head. I thought revenge would feel like closure. But seeing her panic, knowing she's losing everything, it's bittersweet. Happiness is complicated.
Ow.
The next week, I orchestrated subtle financial maneuvers. Emily discovered discrepancies in her accounts but couldn't trace them. Payments vanished, partnerships failed, the media began questioning her competence. Ryan stormed into her office one evening. "Emily, what's going on? Your reputation, everything's slipping." She waved him off, voice sharp. "I know what I'm doing. Stop panicking." Ryan sneered. "I'm not panicking. I'm leaving. I can't be associated with failure." Her eyes widened. You're abandoning me?" He shrugged. "Survival first, Emily. I'll find someone else when you're gone," I whispered to myself, and there it is. Opportunists reveal themselves when power fades. Emily's staff started talking among themselves, quietly sharing observations and doubts. One of her managers, Tom, hesitated before telling me she's making more mistakes than usual. Employees are leaving. Vendors are angry. "Keep feeding me information," I said softly. "Every mistake counts. Every misstep matters." Lisa placed a reassuring hand on my shoulder. "You've built a quiet storm, Ethan. Soon she'll feel powerless." I smiled faintly. "Yes, but I also see her fear her panic. And it reminds me of how envy and selfishness destroy everything. Revenge is satisfying, but it's a dangerous path." Emily confronted her assistant one evening, voice trembling. "Why is this happening? Why can't anyone help me?" Her assistant stammered, I don't know, Emily. People are leaving. Vendors are refusing deals. Something's off." Emily slammed her hand on the desk. "I'm not losing control." Her words faltered. "Fear replaced arrogance," I whispered. Watching from afar, she never expected to be vulnerable. She never considered consequences beyond herself. Ryan had already moved on, flaunting a new girlfriend at public events. Emily's social circle quietly distanced themselves, unsure how to navigate her collapse. I met Jake for coffee later. "She's losing it," he said quietly. "But I can see it's affecting you more than you let on." I nodded. "It is revenge. It doesn't fill the void. It doesn't make the betrayal disappear. I thought seeing her fall would bring peace, but it's complicated. Bittersweet." Jake frowned. "Maybe that's why you survived once. You've got more depth than she ever understood," maybe I admitted. I want her to learn the L." I walked up the steps to Emily's mansion, my heart calm, but my mind sharp. The same mansion that had once symbolized her power over me now belonged to me. Every brick, every door, every piece of furniture, my investment, my control. Emily opened the door, her eyes widening. "Ethan, what are you doing here?" I smiled faintly. "Visiting. Thought I'd drop by and see how you're holding up." her face twisted, confusion and panic mingling. I don't understand. I thought you were gone. Gone like before. I was gone, I said softly. But I came back. Stronger, smarter, unstoppable. And now I paused, letting the weight of my words sink in. I own everything you once had over me. She stepped back, stumbling. That's impossible. My mansion, my company, how? No one could, I interrupted gently. I could, because I learned. Because I grew. Because I didn't let betrayal destroy me. I used it to become better, to rise, while you stayed the same. Her lips trembled. Ethan, please. I didn't mean to. You didn't mean to what? I asked quietly. Steal from me? Lie to me? Destroy my future? Her eyes filled with tears. I thought I deserved it. I thought you'd never recover. I shook my head slowly. You never understood me. You never respected my work, my dreams, my sacrifices. And now, the consequences are here. She fell to her knees, hands gripping the polished floor. Please, I can change. I'll give it all back. Everything. I knelt slightly to meet her gaze. Emily, it's too late for that. You had your chance, and you chose selfishness over family. Lies over loyalty. Now you're powerless, and that's a lesson you need to learn. She sobbed, voice breaking. I'm sorry. I was jealous. I envied you. I wanted what you had. I didn't know. I didn't realize you realized too late, I said, calm but firm. And this isn't about revenge anymore. It's about justice, karma, and the life I've rebuilt. Her tears streaked down her face. I saw the arrogance that had once defined her replaced by fear, regret, and humiliation. I felt a strange twinge, not pity, but understanding. We were family. Betrayal had shaped both our lives, but I refused to let it consume me like it had her. Do you hate me? She whispered, voice cracking. I shook my head. I won't let hatred control me. I feel anger, yes. I feel disappointment, yes. But hate, no. Hate would make me like you once were, and I am not her anymore. She stared at me as if trying to find the girl she knew behind the man I'd become. Ethan, how did you survive it all? I smiled faintly, remembering the nights of struggle, the guidance of Mr. Harris, the support of Lisa, Jake's quiet presence, the long hours of learning, rebuilding, and planning. I survived because I refused to let betrayal define me, because I turned pain into power, and because I trusted myself when no one else would. Her voice trembled. I wish I could undo it. Undo everything. I stood slowly, looking around the mansion. You can't. That's life, Emily. Choices have consequences. Yours were selfish. Mine were calculated. That's the difference. She tried again, voice shaking. Ethan, please, can't we? I can make amends. I'll do anything. I shook my head. Amends won't undo the past, and I won't let you manipulate me again. This time, I decide the outcome. And the outcome is your lesson, your reflection. You live with your choices, Emily, just as I've lived with mine. She fell silent, tears rolling freely. I never thought it would end like this. I stepped closer, calm and resolute. Neither did I once. I never imagined I'd rise from despair, rebuild from nothing, and confront you like this. But here we are. I've won, yes, but the scars remain. The betrayal, the lies, they've shaped me forever. Emily's voice was barely audible. I understand. I am sorry. I nodded slowly. You are, and you'll carry that understanding with you. Use it to be better, or let it destroy you. That's your choice now. She lowered her gaze, silent and broken. I felt no satisfaction in gloating, only the quiet certainty of justice served. I had achieved my closure not through cruelty, but through resilience, strategy, and moral patience. I took a final step back. Remember, Emily, life is cruel when you plant seeds of envy, selfishness, and deceit. But it can also teach if you're willing to learn." Her sobs filled the room, echoing against walls that were once hers, but were now mine. I felt a strange calmness, a mixture of triumph, sorrow, and reflection. I had rebuilt everything I had lost, surpassed what she had taken, and reclaimed control over my life. Jake's voice came in my memory. "Revenge is a tool, not the end. Don't lose yourself in it." I had remembered. I had kept my humanity intact. Lisa's words echoed too. Patience, strategy, and integrity define success more than any act of vengeance. I whispered softly, almost to myself, "Closure isn't about destruction. It's about understanding. It's about balance." And I finally have it. Emily lifted her head slightly, eyes red but clear. I see it now. You really have changed." I gave a faint nod. "I have. And now I leave you with the lesson you refused to learn earlier. Take it or ignore it. Your choice. I won't interfere." She swallowed hard, trembling. "Yao, you're leaving?" "Yes," I said calmly. "Leaving you alive, but humbled. Letting karma finish what I started. Letting life teach the final lesson. I carry my scars, yes, but I also carry freedom, and that freedom is mine forever." I turned to walk out of the mansion, Emily's broken sobs echoing behind me. I paused at the doorway and looked back once, not with hatred, but with quiet resolve. "Remember this moment, Emily. It's the moment your choices caught up with you, and mine carried me through." I stepped out, closing the door gently behind me. The night air hit my face, crisp and liberating. The city lights flickered like promises of endless possibilities. I had one, but the journey had left its marks. I whispered to the wind, "I am free, but I will never forget. The scars remain, and that is my strength." I woke up to sunlight spilling across the apartment. The same sunlight that once lit up my despair, but now felt warm, promising. The city hummed beneath me, indifferent, alive, and full of opportunities. I stretched, breathing deeply, feeling a sense of calm that had eluded me for years. Jake appeared at the doorway, coffee in hand. "Morning, man. You actually look peaceful. Did I die and go to some rich guy's paradise?" I chuckled softly. "Not yet, but this feels like a new beginning. I've survived, I've built, and now I can finally live." He handed me the coffee. "And what about her?" He nodded toward my desk where Emily's name had stopped surfacing in every news headline, placed by industry accolades for companies I'd acquired quietly. "She's gone," I said quietly. Defeated, humbled, but she's not my concern anymore. I've learned something important. Life isn't about crushing the ones who betray you. It's about building the life they tried to steal. Jake sipped his coffee. "Philosophical today, huh? Still, it suits you. You've grown into someone different. Someone better," I nodded. "Better, maybe. Wiser, at least. Revenge doesn't give peace. It gives lessons, perspective, and resilience. And now, I focus on what truly matters." Lisa arrived shortly after, bright, sharp as ever, holding a folder of proposals. "Morning, Ethan. Ready for our review? There's a potential merger that could secure the next phase of growth." I smiled at her, feeling warmth beyond professional respect. "Always prepared, aren't you?" She shrugged playfully. "Someone's got to keep you on track." Jake grinned. "Careful, Lisa. You're dangerously close to outsmarting him," leaned back, studying them both. Lisa and Jake were constant sonkers in a sea of change. I had rebuilt wealth, influence, and freedom, but without them, it would all feel hollow. Lisa opened the folder. "Here's what I've analyzed. Our projections are strong, and the investors are impressed. We're in a position to expand in ways Emily could never anticipate." I looked at her, admiration in my eyes. "You're incredible, Lisa. Not just in business, in insight, strategy, and loyalty. I wouldn't be here without you." She smiled, a faint blush coloring her cheeks. "I feel the same, Ethan. We've been through a lot together, but now it's time to focus on what comes next, without letting the past consume us." Jake raised an eyebrow. And what about Emily? Do you ever think about her? I paused, thinking. Sometimes, as a reminder, she's the cautionary example of envy, arrogance, and selfishness. But she's not my enemy anymore. I don't need her downfall to feel accomplished. I've earned my life back, with dignity and integrity. Jake nodded, clearly relieved. Good. I was worried for a moment. It's hard to watch someone you care about get consumed by vengeance. I sipped my coffee. It's a lesson, Jake. The scars remain, yes, but they remind me to be careful, to choose wisely, to value the right people. That's more important than money or power. Lisa leaned closer, voice softening. And you've done that. You've built a life with people who truly matter. That's rare, Ethan. I smiled faintly. It is, and I intend to protect it, to nurture it, to grow beyond what I once imagined. Jake laughed, breaking the moment. Sounds like a speech at a graduation ceremony, I chuckled. Maybe, but it's true. I've learned that life is more than winning, more than revenge. It's relationships, purpose, and resilience. That's what gives meaning to all the scars I carry. Later that day, I walked through my office, overlooking the city. Deals, investments, and projects moved forward under my guidance, but my mind wandered to the personal growth I'd achieved. The sleepless nights, the rebuilding, the strategic patience, all of it had led me to this moment.